3, 2, 1. Doug Kide here with this week's Patriots video mailbag. Tweet me your questions at Doug Kide using the hashtag MailDoug. Muhammad Khan up first. Thoughts on Mac Jones? I've now watched Mac Jones at 3 Patriots OTAs practices, and overall, I guess I would say he looks like a rookie. That's not to say he doesn't look like he belongs. He does. He looks fine, but he's taking a little bit more time than other quarterbacks to process. He's relying on checkdowns. At this week's practice, he was actually hitting wide receivers. In previous practices, he was only completing passes to running backs and tight ends, so that's certainly a step forward. He missed on a pretty bad screen pass to Ramondre Stevenson, a rookie running back at practice. In the second week of practice, he probably should have thrown an interception, but it was dropped by Kyle Van Noy. But overall, I would say he's been solid. I think in an ideal world, he probably would have come out guns blazing, looking much better than Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer. And I wouldn't say that that has happened. I do think that since Cam Newton went down with that hand injury, Jarrett Stidham and Brian Hoyer have looked like the Patriots' best quarterbacks. They also have much more experience in this offense than Mac Jones does. So I think that the real analysis, the real evaluation is going to come during the summer, both in training camp and preseason, when everyone is able to string along and string together days. At this point, it's a little bit broken up for Mac Jones, and it's broken up for the media too. We're only getting to watch one practice per week. So I'm not ready to fling out any hot takes about Mac Jones. I don't think that his performance has, produced anything that should be a hot take. I think he's looked fine. I also think that he's looked like a rookie. I think there's a lot of room for him to improve moving forward. Second question here. PFF McCorkle asks, now that Julio Jones trade is official, where do you envision the Patriots spending the remaining salary cap? Am I off base to be worried about our offensive tackle depth? Overall, I think the Patriots will hold on to as much salary cap space as they can now that they are out of that Julio Jones sweepstakes, because no one really knows what the NFL salary cap is going to look like next season. It might go way up to $208 million. It might stay where it is. It might only go up a few $1 million. So I think the more cap space the Patriots can hold on to carry over into next offseason, the better, especially since they backloaded pretty much every single one of the contracts that they signed to bring in those free agents this offseason. As far as offensive tackle depth goes, I guess it's fine to worry about that, but just realize that Michael Onwenu will probably be the Patriots starting left guard, but he'll also be the Patriots backup offensive tackle, because if Trent Brown goes down with an injury, Michael Onwenu can just move over to right tackle, and then Ted Karras can come over at guard. If Isaiah Wynn goes down with an injury, then Trent Brown can move over to left tackle, Onwenu can go to right tackle, and Karras can come into guard. So the tackle depth is really tied into the guard depth, and the Patriots have great depth at guard in Ted Karras. Final question here, Josh Brown, true or false offense aside, if last year's Patriots team had this year's defense, they would have won 10 plus games. 10 plus is a lot. I'd say 9 is certainly realistic. 10 is definitely within the realm of possibility, but people do kind of forget how bad the Patriots' depth at linebacker and defensive tackle were last season, and those ails should be cured this season. Now that Dante Hightower's back in the mix, they've got Matt Judon, they've got Kyle Van Noy back, they've got Devon Godchow, they've got Christian Barmore, Henry Anderson. They had some major holes in the middle of their defense, and it looks like those have been solved. So I expect the Patriots defense to be quite a bit better this season. Probably a top 10 unit, maybe even a top 5 unit. I think they will be among the NFL's best. And yeah, maybe if they had this year's defense last year, maybe that would have got them to 10 wins and a playoff spot. But I do think that could definitely push the Patriots over the edge this season.
PNC Bank, helping to make banking easier.